Alright, this is it. It's like super late at night though, so. Okay. Well, you'll be damned. Hello there. I don't believe I've had the pleasure. You must be here to join the facet of fishing, yes? Oh goodness, that was awfully presumptuous of me. We had so few applications recently, I got rather carried away. No, I'm here for... The fishers of the mean and surrounding villages have made me their representative, you see, although I soon discovered the post to be a little more bothersome than I was expecting. I'd much rather be wheeling and fish than scrawling numbers in a ledger. But such is life. It is my responsibility to ensure that the citizenry have a steady supply of freshwater and saltwater foodstuffs, which is not a task to be taken lightly. You see, while we were able to produce fruit and vegetables within the crystarium, fish are a little harder to procure. The trouble is, we tend to eat the same things day in and day out, so I've been searching other species to be used to supplement our diet. In fact, I'll be sharing my latest findings with the other members. Would you care to join me? Excellent. I'll meet you in Solik. Look out for fishers casting their lines. There's nothing quite like a hook in the eye to ruin your day. Where's Solon? Oh. Okay. That's Solon. Oh, there's a gnat. Now, there's a gnat in my room, in my apartment right now, and it's like, boy, I wish I had those incense that, the new moo had me make. Oh, fishing. I don't know, we talk bad about fishing, but it is quite interesting to do in this game. Isn't this wonderful? I never tire of gazing across the source. Did you know that most of the fish eaten in the crystarium come from these waters? Unfortunately, my newfound duties prevent me from coming here as often as I like. Do my eyes deceive me? Could it be that our illustrious leader has found the time with his busy schedule to pay us a visit? No doubt he'll have more of his words of wisdom to impart. I don't wish to Diversify the types of fish delivered to the crystarium, and for that I need your cooperation as we discussed before. Diversify? Are you saying our catches aren't good enough? I've been earning a living here since you were but a cub, so don't tell me how to do my job. As for you, I'd advise giving this one a wide breath before he starts filling your head with all sorts of nonsense. He wouldn't even be in charge if it weren't for that one spell of good luck. There are dozens of honored fishers better suited for the position, and none of them would waste their time on wild theories and myths. You have us risking our necks in some wretched hellhole trying to catch a species that, for all we know, may not even exist. We're already providing the people of the crystarium with all the fish they need, so why change things? Because maybe after a while he's tired of eating the same thing over and over. I've done that several times. Nothing, Frederick. The best thing you can do is stay out of our way. Why don't you go back to your books while we get on with some real work? I'm sorry you had to see that. Or my proposal, but have you be more receptive to my ideas. There's something I'd like to show you if you're interested. Yeah, I got time. Relieved, to be honest, I don't think my heart could bear any more rejection. Anyway, I'll meet you at the Cabinet of Curiosity. Whoa, why there? I'm sorry. I'm distracted. How ironic. I'm ironic that the last story that during the fishing time is the one that I get distracted by while working. The only thing I enjoy more than fishing is getting engrossed in a good book. Come to think of it, that's partly the reason why I became representative for the facets of fishing in the first place. You see, I discovered some long forgotten methods for increasing the average yield per fisher. I put these techniques to the test and they were even more effective than I could have dreamed. One thing I hadn't taken into account, however, is that the person with the highest number of catches is put in charge for the following season. As fate would have it, that turned out to be me. I soon found my new role to be the proverbial poisoned, proverbial poisoned chalice, and the more experienced members rejected my every suggestion, no matter how minor. I can understand the desire to maintain the status quo, but I'm afraid that is actually the cause of a much larger problem facing our people. Citizens, young and old, throughout the crystarium are suffering from a range of potentially serious illnesses. Thankfully, most of them don't appear to be contagious. though that merely serves to deepen the mysteries of how they are contracted to begin with. After a considerable amount of research, I came to the conclusion that poor diet is to blame in many cases. People around here tend to eat what they want, when they want, which leads to missing vital nutrients contained in the less appetizing dishes. In other words, these conditions can be cured simply by consuming the right kinds of food. Well, yeah. For example, eating 8-eyed eels is apparently the ideal treatment for a condition known as shadow blindness. Many people lack the ability to see well in the dark, which it was until recently believed to be caused by the unrelenting glare resulting from the flood, but it seems to have been a common problem long before that. This is just one of the many afflictions mentioned in these ancient tomes. Most entries have a list of possible treatment. Many include the name of certain fish. I intend to catch these and distribute them throughout the Crystarium. Of course, there'll never be enough for everyone unless the rest of the Faster cooperates. If only they listen to me. To tell the truth, I feel like you're the only one who sees my side of the argument. If you were anything like the others, you'd have told me to bugger go away by now. Would you be willing to aid me? Well, yeah. It makes sense. You would? I don't know what to say. Perhaps I should start by making you an honorary member of the Faucet of Fishing and giving you an assignment. If we make it official, you'll receive payment for any order successfully fulfilled. One thing we're not sure is coin, I assure you. Before we can begin, I need to get the necessary paperwork in order. So let's meet back at the mean. I'll try to have everything ready before you arrive. Okay. Now that all the trifling details have been taken care of, you're ready to fulfill your first order. Do you remember the 8 eyes eels I mentioned earlier? Well, as it turns out, there are a few blindness patients who could benefit from adding those blood-sucking nightmarish creatures into their diet, and that's where you come in. I'd like you to catch as many of these as you can. Not only will the eels themselves intend to latch onto your flesh and drain you of your bodily fluids, the area surrounding the lake they inhabit is full of deadly predators. Naturally, they'll try to eat you as well. The fishers normally aim to have safety in number, but you'll be alone, I'm afraid. But I'm sure a strapping fellow like you is perfectly fine. Remember though, you'll be risking life and limb. Those poor souls who struggle to see well in the dark will be overjoyed. And that's it. The door is open. Time to supper. Starium deliveries. Many fishers avoid water known to contain 8 eyes, like the riff of size. But the nutritional benefits they offer are worth the risk. And by that, I mean the risk of them cutting holes in your flesh and drinking your blood. I guess they drink the illness or the disease within it. Alright, so I have to go fishing. So alright. I got him. It took a while. I'm actually disappointed because it took so long. But the thing is, it wasn't as bad. I say, this one must have been quite the bloodthirsty glutton. Very literal sense. Before you managed to reel it in. Not really. Thank you for your hard work. I believe we have a sufficient number of 8 eyes eels for the time being. I don't think I mentioned this, but the people I used to test the treatment for shadow blindness are acquaintances of mine who work in the cabinet of curiosity. Old books must have be kept out of the light if all possible, so not being able to see in the dark poses something of a problem. The couriers have already started eating their eels, although we'll need to wait and see if they have the desired effect. Of course, they welcomed the chance to try something different from the usual fare caught at the source. Not only that, they were extremely satisfied with the taste. Speaking of something different, I think it's high time we had you cast your line in new waters. Having said that, I'm still investigating which conditions we should attempt to treat next. In the meantime, perhaps you could hone your skills in preparation for challenges that lie ahead? Sure. Nice. Fisherman's friend. Ah, Ronald, I was hoping you would stop by, for I have most welcome news. I do like good news. The course of eels we recommended to the couriers of the Cabinet of Curiosity has done all we could have hoped for and more. Some of them claim they can even read in the dark now. At any rate, word of this treatment has spread throughout the city and appears to have found its way to the ears of my compatriots in the facet of fishing. Unfortunately, most of them remain convinced that I'm unfit to act as their leader. So I asked the Australians if there are any other diseases that they have difficulty treating. They say that a lot of people come to them complaining of rashes and so on. However, a few of those patients have also taken to eating all sorts of strange things, such as coal and paper. Ugh. After consulting the Cabinet of Curiosities, I learned that these symptoms often occur in those who lack meat and dairy in their diets. At first, I didn't see any way for the passive fishing to help, but after a little more digging, I found that these types of foods are rich in zinc. Do you know what else is rich in zinc? Creamy oysters. Unfortunately, they can be hard to come by unless you go all the way to Calusia. But being the helpful sort you are, you'd be willing to go there. Thank you some, wouldn't you? Yeah. And I'm sure the vegetarians will be thrilled once Scraggris is free of paper munching patients. Stop eating paper, people. I used to do that, actually. I'm gonna admit it. I kind of still do it today. To this day, I still once in a grand while would just, without even thinking about it, just put a small piece of paper in my mouth and just chew on it. I don't know why. Like once in a while. I don't do it rapidly now, but Lucia. Ugh. I'm tired. It's after midnight, and yet I want to finish this, so I already knew this quest was going to take some time, but if I get it done, it'll be, what is this, 8:32. Oh, it's over here. Alright, let me go get this fish, to be honest. Actually, I was supposed to just, yeah. Alright, I got it. It sounds like the Turians can't get those oysters soon enough. patients have taken to eating parts of Burgers itself. If we delay any longer, there'll be nothing left of the place. While skin rashes and strange eating habits are far from happening, I imagine the sufferers are at their wits' end. We must do all we can to help them. Oh, I got an extra one? I had 6 and I ended up getting 7. You clearly don't see creamy oysters like this every day. By all means, keep them coming. Nice. Well, that makes another shipment worth. What say we deliver these to Spriggus? Hmm. Hey. Hello. We come bearing oysters. Oh, you're just in time. The patients have already eaten their way through the last batch and were pestering us for more. This fellow was the most persistent of the lot. Um, Although he tells me he's well on the road to recovery. Oh, praise be, it's a miracle. Before I start my course of oysters, I'd eat almost anything I could get my gnashers around. Boots, candles, even a tatty old Amaro brush. I spent goodness knows how long picking the bristles out of my teeth. And then I ate those as well. Thanks to you, I'm cured. Actually, the remedy is from a book. So I think its author is the one worthy of your gratitude. Come now, Mr. Banks. There's no need to be modest. As a matter of fact, you and your scholarly pursuits have become the talk of the Crystarium. First, the couriers of the Cabinet of Curiosity, and now the patients here at... It really is quite remarkable. I wonder, might I be so bold as to request your aid in another matter? Mm-hmm. Yeah, my thanks. Actually, I'd like to ask, what are your tomes mention any case where dizziness is accompanied by heart palpitations? Excuse me? These symptoms are fairly common in isolation, but cases of them occurring together have been rare until recently. Obviously, we tell our patients to rest as much as possible, but beyond that, there's little else we can do for them. Until we know what's causing it, the chances of a full recovery are slim. Please, will you look into what's behind it? I'll do everything in my power. This might take a while, but I have a feeling I'll be calling on your services again. Until then, keep practicing. Well, now we're... I did it again, didn't I? Pioneer! I've made an incredible breakthrough. The key to curing the mysterious illness lies in the bright mirror clam. Unfortunately, they are not native to the source, so we'll have to further afield. My tones tell me they can be found near Log Mirror Lake, once part of the Kingdom of Voiber. These days, that whole area is part of Ilmeg, and most of us would sooner steer clear there if we can help it. Although considering the dangerous places you've been thus far, I assume you're not scared of a few pixies. I am afraid of no goat. I mean pixies. Is that so? You wouldn't have to be the traveler who befriended a pixie by any chance. You certainly are full of surprises. It seems I found the perfect candidate to go fishing for clams in Ilmeg. There should be some in a river called the Spoiled One, if the rumors are true. So are you up for the task? Yep, I'm ready. I say, you seem rather confident. Those ship makers had better think twice before they play any tricks on you. Unfortunately, I won't be able to join you on this occasion, as I have things to take care of. And no, it's not because I'm terrified of pixies. There's the thought. You're terrified of pixies, and we know it. Everyone's terrified of pixies. I don't blame you. I've seen what they are capable of. But yeah. Time to go get some clams. Alright. Got him. Coming up. Well, it seems like your hard work has been rewarded. Your bright mirror clams can be distributed to the patients as we speak. Oh, that's right. Koreans mentioned they might be paying us a visit at some point, presumably to shower you with praise. Trick. Ronald, the clams did the trick. How can we ever repay you? Let's not worry about all that now. The main thing is the welfare of your patrons. Just a moment. Is that Lob? He's one of many who benefited from your efforts. Until recently, he could barely stand without experiencing dizziness and palpitations. Thankfully, the treatment worked exactly as you predicted. To tell the truth, he probably would have recovered even quicker if he'd spent more time sleeping instead of constantly talking about the facet of fishing. Now, I don't like to pry, but I hear there's been some discontent among your members. Not to put too fine a point on it, but I thought that if a facet member were to try one of your treatments, then, well, I'm sure you'll see what I'm getting at. I'll take it from here. If you don't mind, Frick, I'm not one to mince my words, and I won't be starting now. When you first started sprouting off about balanced diets and nutritional values, I thought it was a load of nonsense. That was until the Turians cajoled me into trying your methods, without my knowledge, I might add. Anyway, after a few servings of bright mirror clam, I started to notice a difference. Only then did they tell me it was all your idea, and the scales fell from my eyes. As much as I hate making apologies, I reckon I owe you one. I'm sorry. If there's anything I can do to make it up to you, just say the word. It's quite alright, really, but if you're feeling up to returning to work, there are a few diamonds you can help me with. Yes, we could use a lot more creamy oysters and bright mirror clams, not just for spectators either. If we can encourage the Sinisterity to include them in their meal, then perhaps some of the illnesses we've been treating will become a thing of the past. Yes, I couldn't agree more. We'll do our best to keep the shipments coming in. It's amazing to think that the knowledge in these ancient tomes could be making such a difference. In this day and age, perhaps this will add a bit more weight to my side of the argument. Of course, if it weren't for your bravery and commitment, none of this would have been possible. Now that Lob has offered to assist us, we should be able to maintain the supply of our existing specialties while exploring new avenues. If you keep reeling in nutritious morsels, I'll see what I can gather. God, it's getting harder to read. He's overjoyed with your efforts. He now considers you an apex angler. A new quest. A new quest. Quest, guys. Fishing for compass. Ronald, you've come at a good time. Lob was telling me about a young woman stricken with the most unusual combination of symptoms. She's been having frequent dizzy spells, much like I was. But if it weren't bad enough, there's something wrong with her eyes. The whites have gone all yellow. Yes, as far as I can tell, the dizziness is due to a certain thinness of the blood, while the discoloration is a sign of Junus? No, I've seen that word before, but it's like... Oh, it's jaundice. A medical condition with yellowing of the skin or whites of the eye, arising from essence of the pigment, liver disease, or by... Oh. But the liver can efficiently process red blood cells as they break down. It's normal in healthy newborns. It usually clears on its own. At other ages, may signal infection or liver disease. Thinness of the blood while the discoloration of jaundice. Yeah. She's been like this for a long time, and she's understandably reluctant to go outside, which isn't doing her much good either. Is there something we can do for the lads? Yes, those ancient tools Tones might have something to say on the matter. Well, follow me. I have a feeling we'll be needing your help too. Okay. Da, 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 da. Oh my god, too many menus. What? I believe the information we seek should be in this section. Would you mind checking over there? Bloody hell, so much for peace and quiet. Oh, what a surprise to see you here. I never pictured you as much of a reader. I'm not here for my own enjoyment. As for you, Lob, I thought you'd have more sense than to throw in your lot with these two. Marvel, for once in your life, would you shut up and listen? They're the reason why I'm up and walking again, don't you see? Frederick was right. Is that so? But that as it may, we should leave healing the sick to the professionals. They've got their duties and we got ours. Are you fishers or not? It's because of fishing that's... He never was one for civilized debate. But he only wants what's best for our people. At least what he thinks is best at any rate. It's been around long enough to remember the days when starvation was all too real a threat. That's why Mavel and the rest of the old guard are not like to agree with anything that might lead to fewer fish being caught. The younger ones will most likely to support your cause, though. To be honest, I can't see your talk of balanced diets to win their support, but there must be a way to get through to them. I'm sure there will be time to think about that once I've found a treatment for your friend. I appreciate what you're doing for her, but why don't we have the couriers look for her the information instead? In the meantime, we can concentrate on getting some of the other fishers on your side. I tried that before, but they weren't interested in any of my ideas. Can you blame them? They're not Koreans or Koreans, they're fishers. I think they'd be a lot easier to persuade if you could prove you're worthy of being their leader. Perhaps you could try catching something they've never seen before, like a cat or a trout. That'd be interesting. That might work. Now all we need to do is locate and catch one of the most elusive fish in the history of our art. It's no easy feat, that much is certain. And to make matters worse, the last known sighting of a cat or a trout was in Omeg, which till now, I have gone great lengths to avoid. Perhaps you could come with me, Since you seem to be on good terms with at least one pixie, they may decide to leave us alone long enough to hook our prey. Excuse me. Succeeds rather you than me. Anyway, once I've asked the couriers to lend us a hand with these books, I'll keep an eye on things at the meet. Someone's got to take care of the place. Way. I noticed Hofgars have it rough sometimes in the first. It's kind of concerning. What are we doing at the top of a cliff? Oh, hello. This place is a lot more pleasant than I was expecting, and I haven't been accosted by even one pixie thus far. You don't think they play mean tricks on us, do you? If it's all the same to you, I'd like to catch that fish as soon as possible and get back to the Crystarium. We might be able to get this done more quickly if we make it into a friendly competition. First one to delivery. It's the winner. Okay. Time to catch a fish. Got it. So, how did it go? Trout. As I live and breathe, it's magnificent. Oh, I caught one too. Of course, I expect nothing less from the head and the facet of fishing. Anyway, anyone who doubted you will be put firmly in their place when they see what you've got. I hope you're right. If all goes according to plan, we'll be able to get a few of the younger members to go after the rare species in your stead. But I like rare species. Yes, and that'll give me more time to help here, giving assignments, seeing to deliveries, which in turn will make it easier for you to show your face down at the source a bit more often. Marvel and his cronies will find it a lot harder to ignore you that way. Once they see you taking care of the day-to-day running of the facet of fishing, they'll more than likely to lend you an ear and maybe even a hand. But before all that, there's a certain young lady in need of help. Maybe the couriers have dug up the information we're after. Goodness me, I have to admit that I had all but slipped my mind. I'm lucky to have you here to remind me. I'll go ahead to the Cabinet of Curiosity. We'll send word if there's anything that requires your assistance. I shall see you anon. What do we need? I found a cure. Well, a potential cure. Back here. As you may recall, Lob told us of a young lady suffering from a prolonged bout of jaundice and frequent spells of dizziness. Although we made an earnest attempt to retrieve the necessary information from the Cabinet of Curiosities, it was then we asked the courier's help that we finally struck gold. It seems that the key to overcoming such symptoms lie in the nutrition-rich fat reserves of certain fish, particularly those that spend extended periods out of water. Now, if you think that species like that would be incredibly hard to find, you'd be right. The tomes tell of the amber monkfish, which lurks beneath the sands of Amarang, around the hills of Amber, seeking what moisture it can find. Fishing in a desert sounds like rather a daunting task, but I assume you're up to the challenge. I knew I could count on you. If the illustrations in the book are any to go by, they're ugly little blighters. We should probably catch as many as possible, though. Oh, watch your fingers. Okay. Alright, we did it. Who's there, guys? It's a monster. I do hope that Lob does something to make it look a little more appetizing before presenting it to his friend. For what it's worth, I don't think they come much bigger and uglier than this. I think that should be enough. We don't want her overnourished. Come to think of it, I don't believe I've ever met our patient, which is not so surprising given her condition. I take it the treatment is going on? Oh yes, she's looking a lot better. Less yellow around the eyeballs at least. Trouble is, even after eating all that liver, she's still as limp and lifeless as a beach jellyfish. She's always been a bit of a sickly child, but the Guardians seem to think there could be something worse. Most likely, chrysalis. What? That sounds like something made up. Yeah, that's a made-up condition. What's a made-up condition for this? It's crystal something. Gosh, I wouldn't wish that on anyone, not even Marvel. Oh, I'm sorry, since you're not from these parts, you probably never heard of it. Derives from the fact that it only affects those living in and around the crystarium. Although the exact cause is unclear, the body gradually becomes less and less responsive and could even lead to death in some cases. There's one more thing I have to tell you. It's about the patient. She's Mavel's daughter, Horelel. Oh no. We all know that he's too proud to come to you, and I thought it best to keep her identity from you in case you refuse to help. But her condition is a lot worse than we realized, so it's time to stop messing around. Yes, we can't allow the feud between Meryl and myself to jeopardize Horel's treatment. Though I must say, Love, I'm really disappointed that you thought I could be that petty. Your doubt were entirely unwarranted, I assure you. Now that I think about it, the day we saw Marvel in the Cabinet of Curiosity, he must have been there to research his daughter's illness. But that was when we thought that generated dizziness were the worst of her symptoms. There's only one thing for it. Back to the books. Ronald, you leave this to us. If there's a way to cure chrysitosis through the nutrients in fish, we're sure to find it. We'll be needing your angling skills before long. I'm sorry. If past experience is anything to go by, we'll be sending you off to some fiend-infested bog at the end of, somewhere tranquil and picturesque. Funny. Aquatic artisan. Morsel of the... Have you come to hear good news? I've got none to give. We're still no closer to finding a cure. Of course, people only started using this name after the appearance of the Crystal Tower, and I have no idea what people called it before then. Having said that, the ancient records speak of Noble's Rot, which has remarkably similar symptoms to Hero's illness. But as the name implies, it only seems to affect those who led lives of luxury. Since we're not likely to find anyone like that around the Crystarium, it's hard to say whether normal rots and Christosis are one and the same. The only people you might consider wealthy are those wine-quaffing gluttons over in Ilmar. Ilmar, you're a genius. Am I? It never occurred to me to go all the way there, though. The chances of them being able to help are slim at best. But a slim chance is better than none at all. If there is a cure for Noble's Rot, they must have their own way of treating it. Can I ask you to keep an eye on things here for a while? Ronald, let's head to Still Tie and ask the local fishers. Let's go. We're almost there, guys. Hey. 71. They've actually begun to do that. Put like training dummies and stuff all over the place, so you can, whenever you want, if you just see them, you can train your work on your rotation and stuff. There's something about the ocean that stirs the soul, don't you think? I wonder how many new species of fish are there waiting to be discovered. I've read about all sorts of fantastic aquatic creatures in the tomes. I look forward to the day I can see them with my own eyes. Oh, I do apologize. I was lost in thought there. You better start asking the locals what they know about Noble Rot. Why don't you try that elderly gentleman over there? You're not from around here, are you? What do you want? We're terribly sorry to bother you, but we were wondering if you knew anything about Noble's Rot. That's one name for it, as I like to call it. Rich bastards come up and wow. Loads of people in Ilmar get it, and they've only got themselves to blame. All day they sit there, filling their faces with expensive delicacies and drinking themselves senseless. That don't do the body a whole lot of good, so while their bellies grow fatter, the rest of them grows weaker. Luckily for us down here is Still Tide. The Elmorans seem to think eating partial eels cures it. We sometimes find them tangled up in our nets, and they fetch a decent price. I see. Tell me, where can we catch these ears? Well, it's hard to say since it's nigh on impossible to hook one intentionally. Normally, they'd be out of our reach, but they occasionally drift off from the depths. There's no telling how long it'll be before we snag another one. I've seen a few at market before, though. Some elf boy opened up trade between Elmar and Undo, who sometimes brings eels to sell. But even they don't seem to catch many, and it's not often they make the journey here. Their merchants came by quite recently, which means it'll be a while before we see them again. And we've reached something of a dead end. If they live at the bottom of the ocean, that's where I'll go. My word, your commitment never ceases to amaze me. You sure it's not too much to ask? Hold that thought, sir. Glad to hear it. I'll be back at the bean trying to find the best way to cook the eel. Apparently, it's all too easy to botch it and turn them into something resembling the regurgitated contents of a seagull's stomach, to quote the book. I'm sure the treatment would be a lot more effective if our patient could keep it down. Huh. It's a full errand if you ask me, but I heard the Ondo use moibe shrimp as bait. Might be worth a try. But if your travels take you to the ocean depths, you better be damn careful. I hear there are ancient creatures down there that even survived the flood of light. Beasts that old and that tough won't hesitate to snap up any tasty treats that come our way, including careless fishers. Go if you must, but don't say I didn't warn you. Consider your warning well and truly heed it. We have to go to the Tempest, that's what it is. It appears that the person you see. Yeah, but the Tempest, you might be able to catch him at the Navat slope. $29. Oh. Alright, found it after forever. Welcome back. In all honesty, you've been gone so long, I thought something dreadful had happened. So any luck? Yep. Lucky. We got very lucky. It's repulsive, but more importantly, it appears to be a fine specimen, and is no doubt bursting with nutrition. Now, all that remains is to follow the recipe and serve it. Really. I'll go ahead to Spring and tell her the meal is on its way. Let's hope she's got a good appetite. I'm actually something of a dab hand in the kitchen, but it will require all of my culinary abilities to make such a grotesque fish look presentable. It'll take a while to cook, so perhaps we can meet at Springers a little later. I mean, I could help. I mean, I can help you too, man. Boy, I remember this place. Where we're going. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, I've been in here. They had to put me in here. They had to put me in here to recover. I hear you have caught an eel to cure my illness. Yes, I have. Well, we won't see any immediate effects. I'm interested to see what she makes of the flavor. Hey, she ate it all. How was it? Delicious, but is this truly the key of overcoming my illness? What? It's still too open to be sure. Providing our theories are correct, your symptoms should gradually improve if you continue with the treatment. I must say, it's a lot more appetizing than any of the medicines I've been given until now. You get away from my daughter. What's wrong? Aren't these your friends from the facet? They bought me a meal to help cure my chrysitis. I worked my fingers to the bone to pay for her medicine, and you think you can do better? These kinds of diseases are caused by an improper diet. The dish Ron and put together is meant to give her what she's been missing. Yes, and this is based on our research at the Cabinet of Curiosity, where we found that chrysalis is essentially the same as a disease known as Noble's Rot. The condition is common among Amorians, who use pressure eels as a treatment. That's why we bought some for her to try. And you're using my daughter as a test subject for your madcap theories? There's nothing madcap about eating a balanced diet. Your daughter was as keen as anyone to try this new approach. Only one suffering from crystosis, and we'll need a lot more eels. Yeah. We were lucky to have Ronald here, but we can't expect him to keep catching them indefinitely. I've got things to do. Love and I can't do this by ourselves. We need experienced fishers like you, Mel. Please. You did this for even after everything I said. I will continue to do so, perhaps with you there to lend a hand. Yes, of course. You'll have me. Yay. You'll be out of here soon, I promise. Come on, let's go return to the mean. I'm sure they have lots to discuss. Let's go back. Gonna be honest. I kind of messed up my schedule again. I'm pleased that we're finally able to get through to Maryville, though if Lob had been so discreet, our efforts may have seemed like a shallow attempt to use hallucinations to manipulate her father. He acted out of genuine desire to help her, which will continue to be the driving force behind our efforts. How's Orla? A lot better, thanks to you. So much so she told me to stop fussing over her and give you lads a hand. It's good to hear she's in high spirits. As for getting on with some work at the fuzzy, Lob has a few special assignments if you're interested. You just try and stop me. Watch out, fish, here I come. It's incredible to think how much has changed, with everyone working towards a common goal. Things should go a lot more smoothly from now on. Having said that, I can't help wondering, what would have happened if you and Lo hadn't been there to guide me? Probably still be butting heads with Mira and the others, which hardly bears thinking about. But it's not only me you've helped, it's everyone in the Crystarium. Once they get into better eating habits, they'll be much healthier and happier as a result. Yeah. We and the Faucet of Fishing will be doing our utmost to follow the fine example you've set. While I appreciate that you have your own path to follow, your own challenges to face, you will be sorely missed. If you're ever in the Crystarium, we'd love to hear stories from your travels. All the best, my friend. Yeah, you completed all the tasks. Warrior of Water. You have completed all the deliveries. When you have a spare moment, it seems Callus would like to have a word with you. Visit her at the main reception counter. That's the final quest.